Lovely day.
Lovely day, lovely day. You know when you say lovely day. Professional.
I
Okay.
know.
Okay. Yes, we're here.
It's been a very stressful week.
Look, Toby
So
has his security page.
I'm happy, I'm smiling, and
Okay.
I'm talking. Startups is a big help. Startups
Pero isa
is
lang siya. Startup.
startup. Yeah, I know it's so weird.
Startups is the card game.
Hence chase your dream, not chase your dreams.
One dream. One startup.
Okay, but yes, we'll be starting the show in a few minutes. It's running. Audio levels are good. If you're watching right now, this is a live stream that is also getting recorded. So we'll start in a few minutes after we share our to everyone else. If you're watching in the future, this was recorded some time ago. Feel free to jump forward to the start of the show or just watch us be very unprofessional in this attempt to stay
Don't
professional.
sing the song.
It's your fault. You kept chanting it, so now it's running in my head.
You can sing the actual song.
I know. We'll be starting in a few.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gotta
let's
work, gotta
reshare
work,
our
gotta work,
links.
gotta work, gotta work.
Um, okay. Noel will be dropping something off for us. So
Yes.
we're leaving it to guard.
Unfortunately, it'll be nice to see Noel. It's always nice to see Noel.
Yeah. Ah,
I tag ye, and then I tag ye.
that's still a very roller coaster week.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, see. I did not mute. Ah,
We're gonna do feedback. Feedback.
very unprofessional.
So. Still humming it, huh? In your head.
Yes. I had to block it when you were saying so very good. So what? Rockstar.
Okay,
but
wow, that's
talo pa rin siya.
Tryla.
Okay, reshared to the mailing list. Success. Now getting the Yahoo feed, Yahoo YouTube feed.
Yeah, I'm also tweeting now, and I've tagged you in the post to
Okay.
expand it to
YouTube
your
feed is running. Now resharing to Twitter. Okay. Reshared as well. No. Hey, Dennis. Thanks for joining the show. Oh, by the way, if you're watching the show right now, do send in comments so we know you are there. Sadly, until you send in comments, we can't tell you're in the show. And we'll incorporate your comments as part of the show. Yes, Dennis. Today is going to be all about first contact.
but not the movie.
And, well, maybe even the movie for all we know. So, we'll be starting in a few minutes while I try to wipe off this song in my head. Ah, it's so annoying. It's like it's stuck in that first two stanzas. Because when you don't know the lyrics, that's where it gets really earwormy.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't get out of that lock.
I think none of your what's the one with the band with an RPG?
Yeah. So it's about to say True Fate. That's wrong. Fate No More. Yeah, Fate No More actually has an upcoming role playing game. Um, and it's powered by the apocalypse. Um, wait, let me hear. So the Faith No More official tabletop RPG is a role playing game book called The Real Thing. And it's a standalone RPG that draws inspiration from the 1989 release known as Epic. So it uses the Powered by the Apocalypse system.
Good
Um,
old apocalypse.
and yeah, it adds a few new systems like discoveries, which take form of memories or realizations that drive you to better understand yourself, and so on and so forth.
I need to get water. Sorry. So
Mhm.
Dennis says not Lustra.
Lustra. Let me double check. No, not Lustra. So the upcoming RPG is includes a 5-part story based on the real thing. Um,
So annoying. It's the real thing because it's the name of the album.
yeah.
It's like the real what?
Each chapter is titled after a song from the album.
How strange. How very strange.
And then it will also release a 110-page design style book that contains the game's rules and campaign. Digital release by June if the Kickstarter is successful. Yeah, that's interesting. Um, and then yeah, I guess it's good enough to start. It is 9:30. We are starting a bit later than usual.
At least we're online.
Yeah.
It's like
Yesterday,
it's
no,
been a struggle.
Tuesday
Tuesday was
was
like
we had like 4 tries before the fifth one finally.
connected.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna roll credits. So let me tidy up captions, and then we'll be right back.
Oh yeah! Really great!
This is Toby,
And this is Rocky.
and this is the Nameless Pig. And if it's your first time watching, welcome to
Yeah,
Baduy
you
Pride,
throw yourself off.
our little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
Completely unscripted, not entirely accurate, completely honest. Just we talk about everything and anything.
You're thrown off as well.
No, I'm being deliberately catty.
But if it's not your first time here, thank you so
I
much.
didn't get
for
to
joining
finish
us
my
again.
thing because you interrupted me again.
So yeah, it's Thursday, and every Thursday we talk about something that interests us or something we find amusing, memorable, or it's just something we want to talk about. And in this case, our topic is first contact because
Tuesday was first
Mhm.
contact day,
Right,
and
it
that's
was-
why we reviewed a Star Trek game on Tuesday. And then our other options were like it's the birthday of Astro Boy, I think, today, and that was a little hard to talk about. So we'll talk about this, plus the fact that
That's right.
I'm trying to figure out a trip as well, my first in 2 years.
Hmm.
So I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not gonna talk about it in too much detail. But it's not first contact, but it's something similar. So
So in terms of first contact, we were thinking we could talk about everything from your first time to travel or places you go to for the first time
Mhm.
or things to consider when you go somewhere for the first time. And maybe we'll throw in aliens as well because that's what first contact is. And officially, if you travel, you are the alien. Right? Right?
yes, it's true.
Because you're not the local.
You're,
so you're
the
the
alien.
alien.
Okay. Okay.
And if you're awesome, like Nameless Pig, you'll be green as well.
What's awesome about green?
Green skinned alien traveling. It's not a Lasallian reference, okay?
I don't know. I feel like it is. Is it?
So let's talk about first contact and travel. What was your first travel instance?
Oh well, that's easy for me. My very first travel was going to the U.S. In fact,
Mhm.
it's like the beginnings of the memories of my life. Like I
Mhm.
mean, you ever think about that? Like how far back can you remember? And then I think more or less my continuous memories start literally at LAX, arriving at LAX, and then we were largely in California. So that was very alien and pretty interesting.
Mhm.
So that was my first trip. What was your first trip?
What I remember to be my first trip would be the United States,
Okay.
but possibly officially my first trip in vitro would be from Singapore.
That's
'Cause-
true. You were present at the time.
And the family did have to go home because mom had me.
Mm,
Because Kuya did have some years in Singapore. So
Okay.
I guess that was my first trip. I'm an alien of the Philippines.
Not really, because our citizenship laws are very broad, and as long as you're born here or born to Filipino parents, you are qualified to become a Filipino citizen. You remember that? I remember that in social studies.
And
Because this
I-
whole the criteria for being a citizen is like, whoa, the bar is
it's
low.
that no, it's where you're born. It's not where you were conceived or
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
about where you're born, which is always like you always get those silly questions about, okay, you're in an airplane crossing the
Yeah.
international date line.
Or
You know.
you're in international water.
Yeah, so who's where, what, when is your birthday, and which citizen are you?
Mm-mm.
So there are countries that choose in different ways. But then that's like international travel. I mean, you can think about like, okay, I'm pretty sure our family made a number of trips to places like Baguio and Tagaytay and
Mm-mm.
Cavite. But then I don't remember them first, unfortunately. The first trip I remember is the US one. So
Mm-mm.
that's something. I mean, like, can you think of a domestic location that may have been your first? Would that have been earlier than your US trip as well?
Well, for that, I'm always struggling to define what would count.
Because
Only,
you were lived in the province?
yeah, because Parañaque was pretty much like the province back then, and
So you
other
were really the
and
alien.
other than Parañaque, you have to keep in mind we always took trips to Lipa
Yeah.
because that was La Lipa.
Mm-mm.
So traveling these far distances was like normal for me. It was weirder for me to go to
Then
QC.
should we count it, yeah, as, or as, like, yeah, as an irregular trip? So
Mm-mm.
something that's not part of your routine.
Mm-mm.
What could that be?
So, so with father's side, it was a lot of Lipa and it was a lot of here
Okay.
because the air base um, was father's side naman, the
Mm-mm.
titos and
And
lolo
by
and
here
stuff.
you mean like Taguig?
Um, Fort Bonifacio, Villamor Air Base, which
Yeah.
is there, diba? So it was like we were traveling a lot of
I
that,
love how Toby's like literally just pointing.
and a lot of that was weird for me, kasi from the village back then when we drive off to the air base, it would be these side roads that is just nothing but you know empty lots, right? Now it's like so different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the out of town for me was more um, first time I went to Taft
Okay.
because I was like, where is this place? Why is it so weird na? And then first time I was in the coastal area
Mm.
because I was more used to the coastal area of Parañaque
Hey,
facing
Mitch.
Laguna de Bay.
I guess you could, think about it as, was this the first contact situation? I think we all go through like 2 points of us as travelers.
Mm-mm.
There's a large part of our life where we're part of the travel. We're part
Yes.
of the group. It's part of the family. It's someone else's trip. It's
Yeah.
a field trip that the school has organized. So you don't have as much agency in things, right?
Mm-mm.
You just kind of go along. And then it's a whole different ball game when you're planning your own trip
Yes.
and making travel plans. And I think that's kind of fun. So, because I was just because when you're traveling with a group and you're not the organizer and you don't have a say on the itinerary,
Mm-mm.
then I guess you don't necessarily feel like you're um I don't know, you're not it's not as engaged in I mean, you're gonna experience new things, yes,
Mm-mm.
but then there is that filter of um someone else leading the way, someone
Mm-mm.
else who may have been there before telling you where to go, like,
Or you're just doing the motions because that's
mm,
the routine. So like, get your bags. Okay, we have to go here now, and
mm,
you're
mm,
following.
mm,
Okay, fill
mm.
the form.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
fill the form. Okay, we're in the cab now. Oh, we're Hong Kong na. Diba? It wasn't,
Mm-mm.
I remember, um, not necessarily the first trips, but the trips to the states that I remember being more into, because a lot of it was I was into as a kid, but I don't really register it as memories.
Mm-mm.
But I remember the trips we're in. I was fascinated by the plane,
Mm.
and trips were like parang half the day yata, or almost a full day
Well,
or
I guess
two.
it's the
Yeah, I
crossing
mean, but
kasi.
even back then, it was also there were also longer flights.
Mm.
So I remember exploring the plane, and
Okay.
then everyone would be asleep, so I'd walk all the way to the back because no, so that's what it's like. Then I'll walk all the way back,
Obviously, I am not the child who would do that.
and then I'd compare the restroom
What?
because there were the middle restrooms, and
Yeah,
then there
yeah,
were the
yeah.
aisle side restrooms, and they were like, oh, these are so narrow, and it's interesting. And then I'd go upstairs to the curtained area, and then they'd let me inside, and then I'd ask if I can try the champagne and stuff, and they'd let me have it
What?
in the first class.
How old were you when they let you drink champagne? That's not right. That's not right. Okay, I remember. I guess like in terms of like family trips, like there used to be, the family had a farm in
Mm,
Cavite,
mm,
and we would go there and have like I don't know why we went particularly because like an inspection or something or checking if
Mhm.
the farm's okay, and then we would always
Was it
have
land, vegetables farm or animals?
mango orchard.
Okay, orchard.
Okay, so we would come home with
Inspections, I
bushels of
guess.
mangoes, and then but we would have at least one lunch there,
Mm-mm.
and then
Siyempre.
it's like I don't know if it was the first trip or not, but I think it was probably like the first where I don't know. I got super into they made fried rice,
Mm-hmm.
and it was nothing. It was literally salted rice with garlic,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like this is really good. I guess because they put more salt, and it was very flavorful, and I was like happy just
Not
eating the
just
rice.
salt.
Maybe Ajinomoto.
Yes,
Okay,
most
okay.
likely.
So, but
And I've had similar instances in the sense that we had a poultry. So we were there a lot also, whether it was to help in the vaccination of the chicks, which was, you grab the chick, you get the dropper, you drop it in their eyeball. So they absorb the medicines and the vaccine. But that also meant that the chick has been given vaccine kasi pula yung mata. Because it stains the eye.
yeah, yeah, very strange knowledge to have.
But what the fun thing though, which was bad, was that they startle easily. So you might go and you hear all of them. "Ah!" It's like a second delay. But if you do it too much, they die.
Yeah.
They have heart attacks. So Tracy and I were the ones who were tasked to do these missions. Kuya Mike also, but it was me and Tracy who were like, you know, we had fun with the tricks, um, and suffer the consequences of heart attacks. And then it was always panic moment the moment you hear that sound of the toko
Why?
because they're hunting the chicks, and
Really?
you're now, oh, where is it? Where is it? So yeah,
Really? Oh my gosh. I
so
have no idea. I have no idea.
farm
Okay.
farm instances.
All right. So that's like your first contact stuff. So I guess it's more fun. Like, can you remember your first trip where you had more agency?
So a lot of the trips were family, but so there were two trips which actually are in the same trip, where I had more agency, and that was after college. I decided to take the New York Film Academy workshop, and that was held in UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually traveled with my dad. They helped me settle in and stuff, and then for a few weeks I was alone in UCLA at the dorm there.
Mm-hmm.
I was bunking with, oh my gosh, what was his name?
Oh no.
It was Jim something.
That's okay. We don't have to say his full name on air.
Tall, big, blonde guy who also wanted to be a filmmaker. And then we got to know all the other students who were there. Um, that was the time where we watched Blair Witch Project, and we were
Mm-mm.
totally terrified because we thought it was real because there were missing filmmaker posters all around campus and stuff like that. But then I wasn't content, so I applied for the Canadian visa, and from LA I flew to Canada, and
Okay.
that was the, oh my gosh, I'm traveling alone, and um, that was fun. That was fun. That was scary. That was terrifying. But at the same time, there is a certain feeling of liberation of realizing you're doing it alone. You're traveling alone,
Mm-mm.
and then it gets really scary because you realize, one mistake, you forgot this, you left that, you lost this. Oh my gosh, what
Mm-mm.
will you do?
So I was thinking like maybe would I count like one of the first times I went to Puerto Galera, but that was with my ex. But then I realized I think he still knew the way better, and
Mhm.
so like I was still along for the ride. Then I think maybe one of our trips to Baguio to Boracay was probably
Mm-hmm.
I felt a bit more control because I planned it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean like you just had to tell me which flight, but then once I figured that out, then like I booked the flights and then
Mm-hmm.
like go to
Although there
where.
was also the long drive to the north that we
Hmm?
had.
What do you mean?
I remember two long drives to the north. But yeah, they weren't just us. They still had other people.
Mm-mm. But I guess I guess in terms of like similarly solo trip was like I had a work trip in 2007. Although I did had one other companion with me,
Mhm.
but it was her first time to travel. To be fair though, it was not exactly my was just I could say it wasn't my first flight, but my first flights were when like I was 3 years old.
Mhm.
So I was just winging it. Like I know what I'm doing, and I can handle this. Um, But it was kind of so, and it was really like, creepy, like from the airport, then having to get a car, and then like bugger how much we spent on the car because airport surcharge and whatnot, and then to get to, we were at a Holiday Inn.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like your super generic travel hotel, not quite a hotel, probably a motel, but hey, it's a Holiday Inn,
Mm-hmm.
and and this and just checking in and then dealing with the fact that it like had coin laundry and everything, and but I was pretty well prepared for because I knew how to do laundry and all these things, and I
And
constantly
vending machines were so fascinating. Well, at least for me,
mm,
first few trips, parang, oh, I can get what I
I
need
didn't
here.
I didn't super vending machine because I immediately like started walking
Mm,
around and like try to figure out, and but I think travel now, even solo, is like a lot easier because even for that trip, that was like Google Maps was already my friend.
mm,
So from the Google Maps, like I would check out like where this and that is, and then since I had kind of been to the U.S. before, then I had a lot of like, okay, I wanna, how far am I from this, and then I'll just figure out the map, and then I would figure out the bus routes.
mm,
So I would go on the LA website, the Metro website,
yeah.
to figure out my bus routes, so I'd know where to go. And then I had my colleague with me, so I
Mm,
had to bring her along and like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to Hollywood, and this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna take this bus. So that was kind of cool, and I like that, and I realized I'm a bit of a planner in that
mm,
regard, but I'm now very technology enabled. Like I can't imagine traveling without technology. Like I need to be able to have a map ready, even if I don't have the map on my phone. But if at least I can plan it out and then take notes. Then okay, like I know I'm gonna take this bus and then take this bus and then
yeah, I remember in my New York Film Academy trip, um, I decided to visit my cousins.
mm,
So I took the bus
ooh,
and traveled and surprised them. I'm here. And oh my gosh, what are you doing here? How'd you get here? And I'm like, no, I took the bus. We don't take the bus. So they always drive around, but I took the bus, and even mom and dad, they panicked. What, the bus guy? So, but I don't know. It feels liberating to take that gamble and to
yeah.
learn your way around.
So and then that U.S. trip had a lot of similar highlights because it was like things like one, um, was this my colleague wanted to see a beach,
Mm,
and like, all right, let's go to Santa Monica,
mm,
and then like we can take an express bus all the way down like Wilshire Boulevard or something, and then
mm,
and eventually we'll get to Santa Monica, and it was really like that terrifying. I know we get on the bus here, and then we get to the end, and then we're gonna be there. Just trust me. And I think it was like it's the scary when you're responsible for someone else, and
mm,
then you have to figure that out. But that was cool. And then the other thing was like when I said to myself, I want to go to West Hollywood. I'm determined to go out that night,
mm,
and then I did. And then initially, colleague was supposed to go with me, but forgot her passport,
mm,
and of course, you get carded at the door. So she went home, and then I went in alone and like, oh crap, so I ended up at the bar alone, and then stupid things like the first time I went out on my own, and then you deal with 2 a.m. The lights come on and like, hey,
mm,
the bar is closed, and it's quite nippy, and it was like summer months, but it still was very cold in the early morning, and I was just in a shirt and jeans. Crap! And then the next time I tried bringing a jacket, and then like, this is so annoying. I tried to check in my jacket, and oh, it's like $2 to $3 to check in a jacket. That felt like a waste of money, but I did it. And I didn't
mm.
do it. I didn't do it, and it's like so annoying. So all these little like things you stumble into, and like really, really. So, yeah, first contact situations happen on multiple levels when you're living away from an
Mm.
extended period of time, and there's like always things to learn. So that's cool. Um, then it's fun when at least when it's other countries. It's fun when you encounter family and friends.
Mm.
And that U.S. trip for me, sorry, it's just a big thing. I was there for 2 months.
Mm.
Um, pretty much living out of Holiday Inns. And then, but they were kept things like my aunt in Florida kept saying, "Come visit us, come visit us." Like, we're like, what?
Mm.
How am I gonna visit you from California? I
But
have
then
to get a flight.
you realize you can visit anywhere because flying was like just taking the bus.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
it was
in the
budget.
Philippines, you'd think flying is like, oh, that's big enough.
Yeah,
But there, it's like, no, you can just fly here. I'll fly there. I'll visit you.
it was like that.
What?
It was like that, and my friend in Seattle
Mm,
also again who like it was
mm,
super like tried to visit him up there. Like, am I really gonna do this? And I was trying to psych myself up for doing it, but then I didn't have the nerve. And then the trip sent me to Lubbock, Texas, in the
mm,
middle of it. And so like I was in LA first, and then suddenly I'm in Texas in a smaller town where it really felt like the number of Asians could be counted on one hand,
mm,
and they all worked. We all worked at the same company. Um, and Lubbock was not as friendly a town as LA because it was very car centric.
mm,
So like there was one bus that handles a loop, sort of, which is there's literally a loop around the city, but then that's it. And then like I didn't get to go around as much. So that one's really like I would hitch with the operations manager to work. Like
mm.
he would pick me up at the Holiday Inn. Still, they found another Holiday Inn. They would pick me at the Holiday Inn. They drop me at the center, and then after the center, I go back. And I didn't have any recreation in that trip.
Mhm.
It was literally just I came to launch the site and then went home. So it was just that was like a kind of miserable. It was okay because I met nice people, but then like I only saw the facility and then I only saw my motel. So
So my shares, a weird experience riding the bus in US was how Americans were in the bus. So worried to get out of Seattle before it got dark.
mm.
I remember similar fears. Um, Hong Kong, I was always afraid to commute. I think it was because of the Hong Kong movies and all the crime.
That doesn't help you.
So like when we were in Hong Kong, whenever it's starting to get dark, I'm like worried if we're still out.
Mm.
Um, I remember when there was the trip to Singapore where I was with my family, but I met up with your sister.
Yeah, yeah. And you went to Clark Key,
And
right?
then when I was supposed to go home, there was nothing to ride because of the Grand Prix, I think.
Yeah, it was F1 month.
So I had to walk all the way back to the hotel. And I was like, I'm going the right way. I'm going the right way. But I just kept walking and I'm like, I think this is the right way. I'm going the right way. And I found the way back. But I remember that was
Yeah.
freaky because it was walking and then suddenly seeing this barrier, like I can't cross. And I'm like, wait, but this is the route I know back. And then I start going around and I'm like,
See the joys of navigating another country. But again, I mean, but if you invested in like mobile internet, then technology is still your friend.
yeah.
Or at least trying to download offline maps
But even
now.
with the maps and stuff, there's that what's going on? Why suddenly are the roads closed? Am I not supposed to be on the road at this hour? And you're
It
like,
doesn't help with a country like Singapore,
yeah,
where
and you're starting to
it's
worry
known
that
to be
baka
strict.
they'll arrest you for something. Maybe you're not supposed to be wearing shoes at this hour or something. I don't
What
know.
the hell? That's not a thing. Just play the Singapore Dream game, and then you learn a lot. Okay, okay. So yeah, so that's like one thing. Like it's the travel. Think about For me, my story in the dark was really that that first time I went to West Hollywood, and then I was going home at 2 a.m.
Mhm,
and then trying to figure out like crap. I need the blah 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 bus going home, and I'm at a bus stop, and it was kind of dark.
mhm,
And then like, oh crap, I'm waiting here for a while. And then it was the first trip without a jacket, and like I'm cold. I had been sweaty from dancing, and now
mm.
I'm chilled because of the air. And like, oh crap, this is like a perfect form to get sick. And then I could get mugged, and then I don't know I don't know what's going on. And I was so happy when the bus came up, but it was kind of like an older bus, and the windows were dirty. It's like all these bad things could happen. So I got home alive, and then I was stupid enough to go to West Hollywood several more times during that trip.
Because you get emboldened that
Yeah,
okay, I can do it. I did it.
and mostly alone.
Mhm,
Like I didn't have work people with me, so that was LA. I felt empowered. Texas, I felt trapped.
mm.
Okay.
My also shares Google Maps are great except in Beijing. It did not work outside the hotel.
Well, China is not a great place for Google,
Mm.
admittedly. Yeah, yeah, but that's the thing. And I haven't really super relied on offline maps, even though I keep downloading the maps to my phone. But
I'm happy
I don't use
that
offline maps.
we've
I'm
gotten
scared.
to a point that I can confidently tell I can confidently tell foreign friends who visit the Philippines that they can trust the maps now.
That's
Because there
true.
was a
That's
time
true.
wherein here you look at those apps and you're like, what? These aren't the maps in the Philippines. What's going on here? Um, so it's nice to see that it's so much better now.
And then even and I know Toby's like spoiled like what's this? And I think it's with the maps improving, with navigation tech like ways improving, then it's like so easy to like send people a pin. Like
Mm.
this is the pin to get to us. So like
Mm.
when we try to invite people over stuff, then it's not so bad. So first technology has gone a long way to make our first contact situations so much easier. The one thing we haven't fully tried is translation, right?
Mm.
Like Google Translate, you can download languages already, and
And
then
then you use it,
theoretically you could type or speak into it,
and
and
then
then
it'll
use
translate.
it to talk. And I haven't been that brave. I have used the camera to read signs.
Yeah, I've done that as well.
We've done the camera to read signs in other languages, and that's kind of fun. But it also like I always feel like it paints a target on your back, like tourist does not know what he's doing.
Mm.
So, yeah, there is that. Um, yeah, then Mitch agrees on the. Oh, sorry, Maya agrees on the technology bit. Um, do people have experience like that? So is there anyone who's tried communicating to people in another country using
Apps.
like translation apps, or yeah, whether you make it speak for you or you show the translation? Like I'm curious, like because I'm sure it's a thing. I'm sure it's a thing that people will be brave enough to
Mm.
do it. Before it was walking around with a phrase book and like butchering
And
the
and there's a
language.
lot of online videos that show people doing that, right?
Mm.
Wherein they'll say something, then they'll let the person hear it, and I'm surprised that there are gadgets specifically for that.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's like the pseudo real time translation
Mm.
stuff. That kind of fascinates me. So and I mean, okay, we chose the
Universal
topic. We
translators.
chose the topic also because of first contact day. And when you think about it, like one of the fundamentals of the federation as a utopian group is universal. It's like universal sharing of information, but also
Mm.
universal understanding. And it's always such a big thing when you can understand one another. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why the in Star Trek it's the conceit of the universal translator that is operating almost all the time. In Doctor Who, they worked into the narrative that the TARDIS is psychically connected to you and is translating
Yeah,
languages for you wherever you go,
despite, well, at least
despite
it.
not doing that in the early
Yeah,
years.
and in later episodes, the TARDIS will be gone. Sometimes the translation still works for some
Yeah,
reason, or
yeah. There's like
sometimes
residual
they'll
psychic
mention,
energy.
I can't understand them anymore.
Yeah, yeah. It obviously it works with the power of plot, but
Mm.
it's kind of cool. So Um. Oh, my, and don't get worried about getting lost in the subway, like going to the wrong platform. Locals get lost too. That is fair. And then even some of the best, like as beautiful as the Singapore metro system is, the MRT system there,
Mm-mm.
the first few times, especially when it's multi-level, it's like crap. The big exchanges
Excuse
like
me.
Dobby Got and whatever. It's like
Yeah.
it's kind of overwhelming, and I know like the first time Toby and I went out, and we went traveling on our own. We went traveling around the city on our own without my sister.
Yeah.
We were just like following the lines on the floor because like they're color coded line. Get to the red line.
Mm.
Then if you look down, there are red lines on the
Which were the
floor.
lines meant for the visually impaired?
Well, not
Because
visually because at
they
you're
had the bumps as well, right? So you could
yeah.
use it as a guide to get to the right line. So we were following those, and then okay, change color. Okay, we this one. And then later on, we started getting more used to it. Um, that we would be stating what the announcer was saying because we're kind of memorizing that and what goes what.
Hua gang. So yeah, there's it's the fascination of metro systems. I mean, same
Mm.
thing with the LA metro. It's so weird to me that there are underground trains in LA because they used to joke that shouldn't be a thing, but it is a thing. And then, but same thing, like there are those overwhelming stations that are multi-level and like
How often? Well, not probably not so much, but um, as a group, and then one gets off at the station too early or doesn't get off in time. So bye bye.
well, uh, I don't really travel in big groups
Hmm.
because always with like one other colleague or you, and then when it's family trips, you wouldn't take public transport. You would probably
Mm.
take a cab.
We had a lot of moments like that.
Oh my god.
So like with Hong Kong family, and then door opens, and then me and Tracy we step out, and then we look and we see mom and still inside, and the train leaves. They're like, "What?" And then do we wait, they'll come back, they'll come back. Stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
And then it happened even within a mall. So like in Hong Kong, you have the interconnected malls, right?
Mm.
Um, family was out shopping. Uh, me and Tracy are left at Toys R Us to look around. Then me and Tracy got, we're like, it's taking so long. We want to go back to the hotel. So we decided to head off on our own to go back to the hotel.
Why would you do that?
And then the rest of the family arrived in Toys R Us.
Why
They
would
can't
you
find
do
us.
that?
We're waiting in the hotel, still nothing. So we decided to head back to Toys R Us. And then the family arrives in the hotel.
You're very disobedient children. If we were told to like go to a place, then we're just at that place, and then we're not going to, you know. Because okay, to be fair, my family is like we're used to the bookstore deployment.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a book is always sacred,
Yeah.
and then like we could. I spent many a time visiting new bookstores in different places, whether it's around Metro Manila, or other countries, and it's the universal rule of it's like meet you back here, and like actually we don't even say a time.
Mm-hmm.
We just go in, and then we all go to our respective sections, and then it's like once you generally have the books you want, then you kind of just wander around the store until you bump into a family member, and then you start clustering. And then soon we all get reunited, all with our books, and then like okay, it's time to pay, and it happens every time. I mean, you've seen me in Singapore at Kino. We're like that. So
Well, kami, obviously, lots of strong-willed people
are
towards
you
different.
saying we're not strong-willed?
No, but I mean towards different passions. So like,
Mm.
while I'm looking for, let's say, toys, mom might be wanting to buy pasalubongs. Dad wants to go here to get this. Kuya will check out the music section. So we're all like everywhere.
The few times we would separate, we'd always have to set a time to
Mm.
come back. So
And
we're
then-
we're that always like we'll see you back in 1 hour at here at this point.
And then I had the problem of I needed to use a bathroom I knew. It was only a bit later that I started to loosen up and be more willing to use other restrooms. But I was always say it had
Oh,
to be.
Maya's back, and he says it happened to her too. A friend went out before we did, and then they waited for him at the right stop. At least he had the sense of mind to get in and try
Mhm.
to catch up. So,
Mm-mm.
and a blessing for those trains where you don't pay until you exit the station
Yeah.
and not like the train, you know. Because sometimes you have to exit to cross over to the other platform, which is like
Mm-mm.
we have certain MRT stations like that, which are very stupid. So
Yeah.
then you pay double, so it's very annoying. Oh, and then nice that this is what is the Singapore system where if you keep using the card and you keep tapping, then it optimizes your costs
Yes.
based on like when you stop traveling. So it looks at total distance and stuff. So it's like ooh, that's like smart. Still expensive,
Mm.
but smart. So
That's what you pay for.
yeah. That's really that's why you get a card instead of buying single
That's
tickets.
why you know the trains try to arrive in time.
Mhm.
That's why you know the timer is not a lie. Train is coming. Train is coming.
Oh, Mitch, we had SM North Cardam's meeting place in case you get lost. Okay, have a general meeting place. So there's
Yeah.
that. There's like that. We'll meet you at this entrance.
Mm.
You just have to be clear.
Mm-mm.
So okay, so in general, like for travel, especially to first time places. So what are your how do you prepare for that?
I always pack light. I try not to carry too many clothes because I keep thinking I'll buy clothes. At
I
least
don't think
yeah,
I'll buy
that
clothes.
was family trips.
Yeah.
So parang I know we're gonna buy shirts. I know we're gonna buy ganyan. So I'll be fine with just a few items. And I was infamous for being the guy who, we go to a mall. Tracy comes back. She bought jeans and a shirt. Kuya comes back with a pair of shoes, and I return with three jeans, four shirts, and socks, and I spent $50.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, "Where did you get this?" And then I'll show them na meron palang ganyang sale dyan, meron palang promo. So I was the one who always found those stuff.
Okay.
So that was me. But then I also am the one who panics about the documents.
Yeah, you are.
So I Um, I used to even have a plastic envelope that would have everything there because I segregate things and stuff. And I
Yeah, I
and
experienced Toby's document stress the first
Mhm.
time we traveled together. It was interesting.
Yeah. So and then there was also the making sure that you don't get um, um, pickpocketed on your trip,
Mm, mm.
so you have money in at least four different places.
Oh God. Okay, I don't do that.
Now three na lang. But
Wow. Wow. We've reduced it by one. Good
yeah.
job. Mitch says, speaking of getting lost, one time, so sleepy, traveling to Tokyo from airport to city train, two times Mr. Stop. Then 15-minute train, 1 hour travel. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I'm
Oh, I remember I think it was Hong Kong where dad was like, let's look around. Or was it Singapore? Parang let's look around because the train naman. And so we're in the train, and after a few minutes, we're still in the train. And parang there was that moment of, akala ko ba mabilis lang to? Kasi parang 15 minutes, ganyan, ganyan. And I was like, wait, no, that's 15 minutes for the stop. And then that's still 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. So that's still around 2 hours. And
mm-mm.
then we're like, whoa, wait lang. Kasi parang you get used to thinking this to that stop in time, and then it's
Yeah.
for whatever trip na. So there was a ganung moment for us.
Yeah, so I think so. I'm obviously like, was this from a travel perspective, especially for
Mhm.
first time. I'm a heavy researcher. I like obsessively
Mhm.
try to figure out things. And then like for first time trips, if I could, I don't figure out a minute by minute itinerary, but I will have a list of things that we want to do, and generally like I'll divide them by days. Like remember like our first few Singapore trips, I'd be like, we're gonna be able to do the zoo on this day because I've scheduled a play on this day and
Mhm.
blank. And then we can fill in the rest. Like while we're in the area, we can do this. And there are little things like that. Like we're watching a play, so we can go to the Art Science Museum
Mhm.
and there's an exhibit for that and then blank. So I will notoriously use tourism websites. I will use any event planners. So the big thing I really want to do is Japan, you
Yes.
know. And then I keep watching videos on like how to hack Disney, how to optimize your fast pass experience. Like when you get in, you run to the rides that get the queue,
Mhm.
get your first few pass tickets, and then you ride particular rides that are lower volume in the
Yeah.
morning and things like that. So
Excuse me.
I get a little obsessed about that, and I haven't really. I know the trip isn't quite going to happen because I've not really sat down and like started plotting out like this is what's gonna happen and really thinking about how do we get from like we spend a day or two at Disney versus the Ghibli Museum,
Mhm.
blah blah blah. So I'm a furious planner in that regard in terms of like activities we'll do and it's like I remember the our early years of Singapore it would always be like, okay, while we're in town, hey, there's this exhibit at the museum, we're gonna do that and then that
Mhm.
and then it's fun. It's very exciting. Okay. Um Mitch, surprised by your 2 hour story. So what other first contact activity?
So there's always the first contact with um, learning certain customs or practices
Mm,
that are um, unacceptable or not socially appropriate.
mm,
Um, so, like one of the big things that surprised me from videos I've seen was that tipping is a bad thing in Japan
mm.
because if you're paying them for their service, they didn't do it well because you're not just showing gratitude. Um, then likewise, you have stuff like in the Philippines, wherein you have everything from, since it's such a mixed culture, depending on the household, shoes should be left out, or don't worry, wear your shoes and go in. And then sometimes what you go to a friend's house, suddenly the rules have changed. And then you travel somewhere else, the rules have changed again. And then sometimes you don't really travel, but then you just visited the hotel within the same city, but they're trying to be more like a certain country, so suddenly the rules have changed again.
Mm, mm.
It's all these little things. And I guess thanks to the internet now, there's that ability to check.
It breaks it in. I mean, obviously, I've watched so many videos on like things not to do in
Mm-mm.
Japan, and all these reminders. Mitch says Planning before super travel planner before creating itinerary. She'll plot all the points of interest on maps, categorize the pins, food, attraction, activities, hotel, train, bus stop, then create itinerary. Hey, that sounds great. And then first contact to learning the coins and what coin is called
Mm.
what. Oh, that's great. That's smart. That's smart. I know our first Singapore trip. I think we spent so much time like studying
Yeah, but
what was it,
but
but
Singapore made sense. It
nope.
just felt weird that the money felt fake.
And we did a lot of like we'll just get it, we'll take the change, and we'll just it looks right, and then later when we're checking, like okay, it adds up.
What freaked me out was it Thailand, where it was just so hard to do the math
I think it was Thailand.
because the
The yeah.
the values were high, and you're like parang in the middle of the night you paid for your beer, so wait, how much am I supposed to get back? And you're like trying to calculate.
The numbers just get very big. It's
Yeah,
like it's just crazy.
and we're just not used to it. But
yeah, yeah. And then just learning also the protocols of like how things go. I mean, like there was one time we were in Clark, and then we tried going to a gay bar there for the first time. It was our first gay bar together,
hmm,
and it was just super awkward. And it was like you're trying to understand the beer prices look ridiculous because you're not paying for the beer,
hmm,
and then of course they spot the tourists
yeah,
at the very beginning of the show, and then they kept talking to us, and it's like I don't want to be a sub focus of attention in this kind of a seedy location, and so eventually snuck away. So
mm-mm,
all these things, and you kind of, I mean, you can research these things, but a lot of them are kind of stupid fun to learn on the fly.
mm-mm.
Remember, like I think it's that same Clark trip where then we're like, hey, let's go to the casino. And all we did was play slot machines.
The only one that felt comfy.
Yeah, yeah, it was it's like I don't want to play poker and stuff, and so we just played slot machines. And I played mostly, but ironically, I played poker based machines.
Yes.
I played video poker,
Yeah.
and I was a little over break
Mm.
even. So like I earned a little money, but nothing to like brag about.
Mm.
Okay.
And then there's always the food.
Oh yeah, trying to
Um,
figure out the food.
and even if you want to explore, but there's always that shyness of admitting you don't know what you're ordering.
Mm-mm-mm. Toby and Toby mentioned this in another video, but like a weird hallmark of our travels together was convenience store exploration.
Yes.
And then Toby was like, "Ooh, what drink am I gonna try today?" And we'll look for whatever is on sale at the convenience store, like buy one take one or $1 off or something. And then it gets super like, then what is it? And like, don't know how to describe it. So many drinks like that. Mitch says in Thailand, there's a limit to max withdrawal for international cards. It's
Mm.
3K baht. So best friend got her card blocked, fraud.
Alat.
Oh, it's the weekend, so resolving took a while, and then you were the ATM, transfer money online, then withdraw. Lesson learned: have local currency. Yeah. So was this? I've not been the sort to. I've never done an international ATM withdrawal. I'm
Yeah,
too scared.
because you feel more safe to use your credit
I
card.
use my credit card.
Me, I've used my ATM,
Toby
but I
likes
also
having envelopes.
I have cash
Toby likes his envelope thing carries on to
because
Singapore.
cash feels safer
And it's not just cash. He always tends to have US dollars
as the backup.
as the backup.
Because if emergencies happen, then you can at least use US dollars because it's going to be accepted in almost any country, almost.
Mm.
Yeah, except for that one country now that uses Bitcoin. But yeah.
Yeah, so and then like I know it's a lot of people like will always say, it's smarter not to exchange your money at the airport and blah blah blah. We exchange your money at the airport only because I don't want to think about it, because there's that you want to have local currency on hand right away.
Yeah.
And so we'll just do it. We'll just do it. Ooh, Maya's like, you'll love convenience stores in Korea and Japan. Oh my god, I'm so excited. And then wala na, because we're like fully committed to this K drama thing. Obviously now we have to go to Korea
Mm-mm.
and explore. I want to see convenience stores with all that rice. Even though I'm not going to eat it. But yeah, I really want to go. I really want to go. So Japan, Korea is probably in our future. Korea, we can go with your mom, and then
Mm-mm.
we'll oblige and do a K. We should do a K
The
drama tour.
tours.
That one for Korea, I like. I'm okay. Let's just book a package of some sort and like just follow people
Mhm.
around, and then with some free time. That I'm game for. Okay. Um, and then of course there's like first contact is a lot easier now because we're friends. If we have traveled, and so you know that like I keep
Locals.
yeah, I keep well. There's locals, whether it's friends or family living in another country,
Mm.
or there's also um yeah, I mean like being able to ask people who've traveled on their own and how
Yeah.
to do it. And then now it's like you everyone on YouTube is your friend. Like today I was laughing because I saw a YouTube video in my feed that came up, which is basically some Filipino family who traveled to Singapore recently, and they were talking about the restrictions. Ironically, it's a little out of date because the restrictions changed on April 1. But then it's like, oh, see, the system understands and like is
Mhm.
helping me figure it out. So yeah, that's cool. So it's like a lot easier to prepare and to kind of cover things if you take your time to watch videos or at least ask friends or look for friends who are in country.
Yeah.
It's always we always have a half and half like which is not quite first contactee, but there's that when you're in another country or another place for the first time and you know someone in the area and you're not necessarily close, then you feel shy to even mention it.
Mm.
Like I don't want to ask for help or to make them a tour guide or
Mm.
something. Like it's okay, I got this. But then like depending on how long they've been there, sometimes it's less for you and it's more for them.
Yeah.
Like they also want to see
Someone
familiar
fulfilled.
faces. Yeah.
And so you make that moment a chance to eat Filipino food.
That's the thing though.
That's
Every
the
time yeah,
interesting.
every time we
That's
meet
the
up with
interesting
people,
thing.
then they like let's eat Filipino food. And like,
Because here,
okay.
when we have foreigners come here, we're like we bring them to somewhere to try this local thing.
We'll still bring them the
It's
Filipino
it's
food.
rarely that you have someone from the states that's bringing them to a steakhouse. It's someone from
Yeah, yeah,
Japan will
yeah.
bring them to a Japanese restaurant. But us going out, that's the pattern that's very common. Wherein you see a friend from the Singapore, ay dito may mga Filipino food dito. Di parang, "Ah, okay," but that's because it's for them. It's
Mitch, sorry, yeah, Mitch says she for her OCNS does the exchange at the Philippine airport. Oh, I don't like the Philippine. I will do the exchange in the other country. And then Maya will say ATM withdrawal at the airport. I
I've
haven't
I've
tried ATM.
I've kind of
I'm
realized
scared
that
ATM.
in as much as Lugi kasi exchange rates, was that difference of money worth your comfort?
Yes, that's true.
Right? Will you spend like 20 minutes worrying where you'll trade your money, finding a place, worrying if it's a safe place, and finally getting a better rate? But then you spent like half an hour sweating and worried.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, there's always like even like in Singapore lore, like right, they say it's better. It's not great to have your money changed at the airport. There are much cheaper places, but you have to get to these places, and then
Mhm.
they're not. They're, I mean, it's Singapore still. It's like safe, but they don't look as friendly
Mhm.
sometimes, and so you don't really want to do it. So, the thing.
So my shares first contact the electric toilet in Korea. I don't understand what button is what.
Ooh,
We've had friends who brought that up as well. That Japan has fantastic robotic toilets. But then we've also been told by friends that if you go to Coffee Project, you get a preview of what to expect because they have
some of
those
the
kind
quirky
of high
toilet.
tech toilets.
I never. I forgot where. I forgot where was it in Thailand or something. I know there was one time we went to a fancy, or we went to me one of my family trips and like fancy toilet, and then literally I Google translated the toilet. I
Mm.
remember I brought my phone to the bathroom and like what, like what button is what.
Mm-mm.
So I think it was the family in Thailand trip when we brought my brother.
Yeah,
So
I remember getting um, surprised more than anything when I entered the toilet and it turned out to be a squat toilet.
oh
And I did not
yeah yeah
expect
yeah
it.
yeah.
And I was like, wait, why am I here? Because I didn't know if I was in the wrong toilet. I didn't know if it was missing.
It's like a broken
And
toilet.
for a moment, I was like, am I supposed to press something and it'll come out? And then I eventually realized, oh, wait, it's a, okay, I'm not supposed to be here. And then I step out and there are people looking at me na parang, why were you in that one? So, yeah.
Mitch, first contact, use a Google Translate, understood the aircon remote control. See, Translate is your friend. I think we use it's easier to like conveniently use it on your own to translate written things, but then like I haven't done the translate in person.
Yeah. And then there's this,
Oh my god, travel adapter. Yes.
the horrific moment of realizing you needed that or that, and you're staring at your devices and going, "What? Wait."
Yeah, so it's always like, so we always bring at least one travel adapter
Mm.
and an extension cord. And then at the very least, we can plug the adapter to the extension cord, and then we're alive.
And then there was the plugging onto TVs just to charge your devices as well.
Using whatever USBs you can
Yeah,
find that are
because at
active.
that time, there were some TVs that were smart, but there weren't yet available USB ports. Because now most hotels have USB ports na rin.
Yeah, in the wall.
They've gotten kinder, but it's still scary to plug into a USB port.
Mm,
I mean,
mm.
if it's part of the TV, you're thinking okay, but if it's like in a wall lang, you don't know if that's
Okay. Mitch is like Australian Korean plugs. They're different. And
Mhm.
then my guest houses are great. They have adapters for rent. Oh, that's cool. And then what is a guest house? I'm assuming it's a specific term. Like which country is this? You'll have to let us
And
know
if
when you
that's
catch up.
Korea, why guest house and not the sauna? Because every show has them in saunas if they don't have a place to stay.
I want to stay overnight in a
Because in
sauna.
Japan, I want to try the capsule.
Oh my god, you're gonna do a capsule. I knew you want to do a
We
capsule.
have to do a
hotel.
capsule. And then we like stare at each other through the glass and think we're in space.
This is the person I've gotten involved with. So okay, yeah. So I guess we're gonna do a capsule hotel at some point
Yeah,
in
but
the
we have to
trip.
find way makaharap so we can stare at each other through the glass.
I don't think not all of them are built that way unless it's like a sexy capsule. I don't know. Korea guest house para siyang hostel-ish. Okay. Yeah, I know there was one trip, there was one outing where we billeted our team at a hostel type place.
Mm.
So it was like bed space, but it was kind of trendy for backpackers, and so when we came in, it's like it's a party,
Because
and then it's all bunk beds.
there are a lot of hostels and I forgot what it's called, but the just as Colgate is the term for toothpaste for many Filipinos, they're the YMCA's. I forgot
Mm-mm.
the more generic term for that, but there are here in the country as well that
Yeah.
people don't really notice. I remember there were a few in Malate and had to stay there once because of a delay in the flight.
See, Mitch had coffin panic in a capsule hotel because it was super narrow. Yeah, just I think we'll just do it for the novelty, but not for a long term stay. We'll do it like
Yeah,
for
yeah, like one night.
one night. You get one night. Okay, okay.
Sige, kahit 2 hours.
Why?
Kasi kung one night, baka mamaya the banyo scary.
Oh, see, that's the real thing about Toby. It's not even the bed.
I don't mind.
It's the banyo.
I don't mind sleeping on the street. I just need a good bathroom.
Okay. I'll admit, I'm a bit of a fussy traveler though. Like, I'd rather stay in a hotel than I don't think I have this constitution to like rough it in a
So you want like
in a.
go camping and stuff.
I mean, that's a different thing, but more like backpacking and like in like smaller inns and stuff. Like I think I'd splurge for a hotel. So even like thinking about if we go to Japan, I want to get the full experience, and I want to stay on property, as they say, which means staying at a Disneyland hotel,
Mhm.
even though it's gonna be super expensive.
Mhm.
But like I don't know, I'll pay for the convenience, and
I also want to
I want
try
the full thing.
that bathhouse, the one I showed you, the one that's supposed to be
Oh, like one of the oldest.
yeah, the one with so many generations worth, and then
Mm,
like
mm.
the pipes here are older than our grandparents, and that'll be interesting to try. Um, my shares, a gay friend stayed at a capsule hotel in Japan, then had a reputation for quickies among guests.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
I don't know about that.
mm, yeah. Well, we could probably do that and just say no. No.
Yeah.
Next person. No.
And then it turns out they're like Filipinos. It's like, what the hell? I didn't travel here for Filipinos. No. Okay. Yeah, so there's that. So wow, we're almost at an hour. So
Okay, since we're talking about quickies and stuff anyway. So, encounters abroad.
obviously I not in LA I tried.
It's scary, no?
It's scary.
What was your biggest scare? Me, it was that I will be mugged. I always thought it was a trap.
I still think I will get assaulted.
Yeah,
Assaulted, but for my money.
I wasn't thinking it was like I'll get sick or it wasn't safe sex or anything. It was always it's a trap and I'll get mugged.
Yeah. Mm,
I don't know. It's hard for me to feel I can trust hookups abroad. So there was always that. No, I don't want to risk it.
I think in my whole US trip, I tried once, and I even did the scary
Mhm.
thing of I made him go to the hotel I was at,
Mm.
the Holiday Inn,
Hmm.
and it wasn't like I wasn't comfortable the whole time.
So
I was it's like I think he got off, and then I didn't really. It's okay, go go.
me naman. So one of the trips, the strategic on trip,
Okay.
I was like, okay, let's check the app, and
Mm.
then there's a gamer group thing.
Oh, that actually sounds cool.
So I was like, this sounds interesting, but then I was like, what if it's a trap? What if it's like
It's not gamers.
it's the perfect thing to throw at geeks who game to lure them, and all the locals will know that it's a trap. So it'll be foreign people like me who will be victimized. So I didn't go. But part of me was kind of hoping to find out what that would have been like.
Okay, our lady friends are mentioning bathhouses and stuff. That's a thing. Like I've thought we talked about this on and off. Like I don't know if I'd ever want to do a bathhouse, but there's like the curiosity of it as an experience.
Yeah.
But then I feel like I'm going to be like this to Toby the whole time.
Well, that's because bathhouses have negative connotation.
That's
Not
true.
reputation, because reputation is earned.
Yeah. Connotation is just
yeah,
it's just an understanding and like.
Which we've gotten from both popular culture here and some places here.
Mm-mm.
So we don't really see if we'll be comfortable in that. But
I really feel like this.
I do want to check out saunas and stuff.
Yeah.
And I know supposedly there are saunas that are also bathhouses that are not necessarily that reputation.
Shepard, and then when you say a bathhouse, there's an implied sexual activity going on.
Yeah, especially the ones with dark rooms.
Yes, exactly.
Dark rooms being lights out, anything can
Oh
happen.
my god, you remember that once there's that spa in Malate before that had that area then.
I think it was in QC.
Was that QC ba?
Yeah, QC was the one that had dark rooms. Malate. Oh
No,
no.
no,
Okay,
no.
okay.
Was
I
it
know
the,
what you're
the,
thinking
the
of.
mansion
That was
or
the steam
something?
room. They were thinking of a steam room.
The steam room and
It
then
wasn't a dark room.
and then it had like a maze.
Yes,
like
it
what's
had-
going
it
on
had,
here?
It had very
It had
organic
these
walls
it had
and
these weird
alcoves.
walls and then
Yeah.
that was
But it wasn't a dark room because it still had a single bulb
yeah
that was
yeah.
generally red. It was a photo. It was a developing dark room light.
yeah, but is it
And then there
even
were
but
shadows.
even then we're always like we're all just hanging out
Yeah.
together and we're just judging
And then
everybody.
someone will walk in and look, and then eye contact, and then you'll be like, and then they'll walk away. But then someone just walk to you, and then they just wait for you to try something because they're standing in front of you, and you're like,
It's like the alien movie, you know the alien's there and you don't want to turn. So, okay. Um Other things. Mitch, the paranoia of Taken. Liam Neeson is not your dad. That's true. No one has a particular set of skills to save you. Okay. Dry bathhouse in Korea, you eat boiled eggs. Oh, see, yes, I want to be like a North Korean soldier in South
I-
Korea for the first
I
time.
would like to, maybe eventually, if we're wealthy enough to do so, experience the different bath slash massages across countries. So like you have the Turkish one with the large. They fill it. The bags with soap. They fill it with air. Then they squeeze it into bubbles.
Oh, I
all over
haven't
you.
seen that.
And then it's like super rough.
Are you
massage.
ready to do the weird one where like you're in a sauna, then you go into the snow and you go back into the sauna?
Yes, those type. And then there's the others wherein they put rocks on you.
Ooh. Mitch was like, and then hindi ba naked yung mga tao in the Banlao area? I see this in K dramas. Okay,
Yes.
wasn't but there's that spa that Iman
Yes.
would bring us to here that was very Korean
Yes.
branded, and then
So-
that surprised me because it was like a fully naked
So most
spa.
bathhouses here are towel required.
Wait, bathhouses or spas?
Bathhouses and spas
Okay.
are towel required, so that by law you can say they're still closed.
Yeah, because then it's still the spa side.
But
of
then,
things.
depending on the clientele, some don't even bother with the towels. So the one we went to had towels, but they weren't necessarily required.
No, but in the wet area, you
Not all had towels.
diba?
Yeah.
Diba? It was like, whoa,
Because
whoa.
because most of them also had tattoos that told you they were probably missing a few fingers. So, and we say this with no racial. It is
we
objective.
saw nothing.
This is objective. Objective things that okay. I think
No,
I'll step
no.
out muna.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
afraid
That's
to stay
like
in the pool.
I won't stay in this sauna with you. Bye. so so yeah, that was and that's local. But then like
Yeah.
the whole experience was very different.
Yeah.
And it took some getting used to. I mean, in the massage area, you're all back in robes and
Mhm.
stuff. But in that wet in the wet area, that was the full like, okay, we're kind of fully naked, and like you leave your towels in the locker
Yeah.
area, and then the lady attendants will help you take a bath. It was like, what's going on here? And that was our taste of like slightly different culture. That was
Yeah.
but Toby had gone there before I had, so then he at least he got to guide me. But it was still like quite a shock to me. Like,
Mhm.
what is this thing you are doing? And who is this friend you trust to do it with? We miss you. No, it's okay.
That's true.
Yeah. So
But yeah, so there's the baths, and then of course there's the food. Visiting those places with the really unique or different food places. I don't care about popular. I more am
it's
for
always
the
for unique and
yeah,
different.
and some of them are also popular. So like one of the key ones was that Nomo? I think the name of the
Oh,
place
the
was
one with the Nordic
where it
one with the
keeps
fancy experiments.
experimenting
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I want to try those. I want to just see what it's like. And then there's those others wherein it's all about what the it's not scavenge, but
Yeah, where they forage.
yeah, forage. That's the word. Parang their menu changes because it's what they forage in the forest that day.
Yeah.
So
So
I
then
want to
that
try
so I keep talking about wanting to do a full degustation type
that.
experience, and then we haven't done that, and so I will give up keto for the day to go full degustation. So like
Mm.
yung 9, 12 course meals, and it's always like the chef's choice. You don't really order. It's like you
Mm.
just find out what's there. We got to do a mini tasting menu, um, with my sister at we were at one of those restaurants in one of those Michelin
Mhm.
restaurants in Marina Bay Sands. And then it was really like this. Ooh, first dish is blah blah blah. First dish is blah blah. Interesting, interesting.
Didn't we have
And then
also a
at the end,
super?
I'm hungry.
Yeah, didn't we have also a super small one here, where it was like
I know.
sashimi, but we didn't know what it would be.
No. We didn't. We I've been wanting to do omakase. We haven't done that. That's the sashimi show. But we did go to the art gallery thing for my sister's wedding stuff. But we didn't order. We didn't do the full tasting menu.
Mm.
Instead, we got all the appetizers.
Yeah,
Remember that one? We ordered every single appetizer
yeah, but I
and
was
then
thinking
we
the one
made our own
here,
tasting menu.
the one where we also had sake,
It wasn't a
because we didn't
it wasn't
know.
a tasting menu. We just ordered off the menu.
Okay.
We just ordered off the menu. When it's a full tasting, like, I trust you, chef.
Mm.
Feed me and make me happy. Take me through a journey of things. Okay.
Yeah, where they sprayed the sauce on.
Sprayed the soy sauce on. Yeah. Mitch says she wants to try acupuncture. Actually, I wouldn't mind trying once. But then, would you do acupuncture here or in another country? There's that, like, do you want to try a particular procedure somewhere
Mhm.
else, or you want to do it from the comfort of home
Mhm.
where you have medical coverage?
Would you be willing to do those sensory things?
What do you mean? Oh, the like eating
Yeah.
in the dark?
Or no, the ones where you're floating in the water and there's
Okay, I don't float, so no.
no, but it's like just that shallow. So you're
I
really
don't
sitting,
float, so no.
and then it's closed,
No,
and then there's no
I
sound,
don't think I want
just the
to.
lapping of water.
Because if you put me in a dark place with like just the sound of water, I want to read. I'm like, sayang the time. Can I read? I want to be reading. So that's my life.
Mm.
Like, I mean, like, as my relaxing, the most relaxed I can get other than sleeping is reading. Like,
Mhm.
I don't like just sitting. Admittedly, I'm not good with just sitting. I want to be able to read. Okay. Mitch remembers the sensory episode with the Modern Family one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's a pretty long episode. This is fun. This is fun. I'm very looking forward to travel again, and then I really have to make Japan happen.
Mhm.
And then Korea. I swear we'll just book a tour first, like because it's easier to learn that way. Japan, I'm wondering if we just book a tour, and then
Mhm.
like we'll just for the first trip, but we don't have to think like
Yeah, mom's already. When are we going to go to Japan?
with your mom. I honestly want to go to Korea with your mom,
Mm.
and then let's do it. Let's do the K drama
Maybe
tour of her
we should
dreams.
hire Mitch to go with us.
Oh my God, Mitch,
So
should we go?
Mitch can be our unofficial
Ah, yeah,
guide.
Mitch, you already said third wheel ako sa Japan and
Oh yeah.
Korea. It's okay. We'll complete the car because we'll have Toby's mom. we want to do a full. We want to do. We should take her on a K drama tour,
Mhm.
and then we'll all be like, okay, and then this is where they did that, and this is where they did that. So we'll catch up. We'll catch up on shows because now, like, oh, I kind of want to visit where they film Startup because man,
Yeah,
that
the
that
sandbox
the
set.
sandbox area is beautiful, even though it's like a crude oil something park. I'm like, okay,
Mm-mm.
okay, crazy off. Okay, so
Thank you, Noel. You just dropped it off. Just
oh
when you watch this episode, you
Noel.
know we were running when you swung by.
Okay, but yeah, let's go. We should yeah wrap up. We should wrap
Okay.
up. So any last thoughts on first
I guess
contact?
my last thoughts would be always remember that whether or not you travel, you are the first contact for someone else.
Mm.
So, you
It reminds me of when we do overnights in the chat, and then Nikki's there, and they says, I look forward to you meeting me."
but it's true. Whether it's your first time to travel, for them, it might be their first time also to meet someone from a different country
Mm-mm.
or someone from the country you're specifically from. So, you yourself are a wealth of new experiences for someone to explore and find out.
Toby just wants to remind you that you are the alien. You are the alien when you travel. Okay, okay. Um, and then me, it's like researching is not as difficult as it used to be. So travel agencies still have a job to make travel easier, but then if you just want to rough it on your own, I think there's a
Mhm.
lot of options. The internet is super your friend. um, YouTube has so much stuff. I'm sure you'll just have to pick the content creators you like. But then there's so much to learn, so go for it.
Mhm.
So and then embrace it as things get safer and the world reopens again. And hey, I hope you enjoy your future adventure. So it's like that. Okay, and then obviously now we've been talking to our friend. We have to travel to Cebu. You've been to Cebu. I've never been to Cebu.
Yeah. Been to
So
Cebu twice, I think.
we have a friend in Bohol that we also have to try to visit. So there's like, especially now after this pandemic, I feel like there is that, like,
Desire
there's the
to.
desire to just stop waiting and do it, right? And meet all these people that you've been talking to online for the longest time, or just take that trip that you've always been wanting to take. It's the perfect time.
Mhm.
As long as you can do it safely and not drive yourself bankrupt. Um, go for it. Okay. So, yep, that's our episode. So, if you have questions or suggestions for future episodes, fill up the Google form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. You can follow us on Twitter, Altobino Shade, RG Sunico.
You can also check out our blog, buddypray.com, for all the previous episodes and stuff about us.
Feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below and let us know what are your first contact stories or what are your first contact tips. Help everybody out. And Maya's like, Klook is good for activities. Ooh, that's true. Klook is very helpful. I used it in the other trip, but I booked cars through Klook. I love Klook. Okay. Um, and be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or
Not a
YouTube,
sponsored post.
so you don't miss out our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And
And
this
this
is
is
Baduy
Baduy
Pride.
Pride.
Good night, everyone.